Hi there, everyone. My apologies if you have been trying to find the Make It With Me Monday on Facebook tonight. I have tried 3 times to go live, and I've completely done through the sessions, and it would say post to the page and all that good stuff, but there's absolutely nothing there. So I am going to record this really quick and get that uploaded so that at least you guys can make a card tonight, even though it's not exactly live. So my apologies. I honestly don't know what is going on with Facebook tonight. It kept telling me I was live every single time, but we could not find me live anywhere. Okay, so deep breath. And we will just get right into it. All right, this is episode 96. We are the day after Christmas, December 26th. Merry belated Christmas wishes to all of you who celebrate. Thank you for joining me tonight, and I hope that you had a very wonderful holiday yesterday. Well, I hope you all had a great day yesterday, despite whether you celebrate Christmas or not. Alrighty, so tonight you needed, I'm going to pull this off to the side for just a second here. Okay, a piece of cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. A piece of designer series paper, that's 4 by 5.5. Cardstock, that is 1/2. That is not 1/2 inch. I'm gonna have to cut that down. By 2, or by 5.5, I'm sorry. And then a 2 by 2 square. I must have grabbed the wrong piece when I recut. And then a neutral piece that is 1.5 by 3. So let me go ahead and fix that right away, because I know that's not correct. All right, so 1/2. Oh, that slid when I put it in there. See, now I'm all frustrated because my video wasn't working, so I apologize. All right, there we go. 1/2 by 5.5. Okay, you can have dimensionals handy if you like. You could pop up a piece of this when we're done. I will show it to you both ways, flat or popped up later. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. You're going to grab your piece of neutral cardstock and then all of the stamps, phrase, etc. that you brought to decorate with that tonight. I am going to be using Speedy Recovery. I believe I introduced this to you maybe last week or the week before. I used the flower images on something. Tonight I'm going to use this little vase piece right here. So I wanted to point out that with these 4 here that you see that have that shaded element in them, that particular part of that stamp will then stamp in the shade of the color that you're using. So I'm going to start with my phrase though. So I'm going to have a sending well wishes your way. And I'm going to put that about centered left to right and down just a little bit because my flowers are going to kind of peek over the top of that. So I'm going to go ahead and take my vase with flowers and my polished pink stamp pad. And pardon me if my head gets in the way, but I want to be able to see what I'm doing here. Okay, so now you can see, like I said, the shaded part there. So that's a lighter portion of polished pink than the outline is. So that little shaded part there, it's almost like getting 2 colors in one whenever you use the stamp. So that's kind of a fun. I love when they add light and shade into the design of the stamp itself. It makes for some really pretty elements as you're working with them. All right, so next you're going to take your card base and we're going to attach the piece of designer series paper to it. So I'm going to move this out of the way because it's black cardstock, which I'm actually using, so it'll be harder for you guys to see. Okay, so go ahead and fold on that score line that you made at 4 1/4. Give it a nice burnish. Now, your card's going to open this direction, correct? We're going to match that designer series paper up to the right edge. So the part that folds in goes towards the inside is where we're going to match up the long edge of your designer series paper. And, oh, I left my adhesive back over on the other side. So like I said, I had done it and I packed up. And what a crazy evening. Oh my gosh. I guess it's a Monday thing. Okay, I'm going to turn this way just because it's easier for me to line up my edges when I'm looking at them this way. So again, the edge that's going to open inside towards your card, not the fold, is where you line up. And then you're going to have a little bit of a gap between that and your fold line, which is what we're going to cover with the 1/2 inch by 5.5 inches piece of cardstock. So mine is, again, polished pink. That is the ink color I was using in this particular case. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and lay that over here. So this one will line up with the edge, the folded edge of your cardstock, of your card. And there you go. So it almost looks like a notebook. It reminds me of like a composition notebook style right now, with just that little piece showing there. All right, now go ahead and take that square that you have that's 2 by 2 and then your phrase. So you can do one of two things. You can put them together this way, so you have kind of like 2 little triangles showing. Or if you want to match them up as opposed to having them going different directions, you can use it as a square, okay? I have a sample later where I've used it as a square, so I'll show you that in just a minute. But I'm gonna do the 2 triangle method. So I'm gonna put a little bit of adhesive in the middle there. And then I'm gonna hold it up. Give me 1 second just to make sure I get it lined up. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. The adhesive now is across that part right there. So I'm gonna add some more to the back. And this is where if you wanted to use some dimensionals, you absolutely could. You could put them on your cardstock layer and have them pop up a little bit. All right, you can place this wherever you think visually you like it. So do you like it down in a corner, up a little higher, to the left, to the right, etc., etc. So mine's gonna go a little more to the right and not quite to center, okay? All right, so that is it for what we cut for tonight. And then I'll show you some samples of things that I did with it as well. So here's one using the teacups. There's a whole teacup suite. It's so pretty, and it uses all of the new, well, new, they're not quite so new now, but the 5 ink colors that were introduced this particular year. So on this one, I'm featuring Tahitian Tide, Orchid Oasis, and Sweet Sorbet. I've used that in the ink colors I chose here. And as I said, you could have these be the same, your 2 pieces of cardstock, or they could be different colors depending on what you're trying to pull out of the background of your designer series paper. So you see I used the Sweet Sorbet and the Tahitian Tide just to bring in a couple different colors from that particular designer series paper. Another option for you is to use more designer series paper if you like for portions of this. So I have the Pretty Prints. I used the gray granite, and then the flip side of this particular gray granite sheet is this navy sheet that has just a little bit of the white fern on it. So I used a little bit of that here, brought in navy again for here, but I used that, like you see, I moved it and made it into the square shape instead of just the diamonds. And I added some faceted gems that are also in that navy color. And wanted to point out here too, remember, neutral doesn't have to mean white or vanilla. This particular case, the gray granite is my neutral. And here's another one where I've used Sahara Sand, there we go, is my neutral color here. This is all from the He's All That designer series paper. There's actually no stamping on this one at all. There's 2 sheets that come in that package that have images that have already been prepped and ready to punch out for you. So that's what this Hope Your Day is a Grand Adventure is. It's just a tag from there. So I used that, and you can see I changed up the shape that's behind it because I wanted to mimic the circles that were in the designer series paper, and to show you that it doesn't have to be a square, just some sort of element of size and shape that makes sense with your project. I also rotated it to a horizontal layout, and I left just a little bit of border up at the top. So there's just a little of that Sahara Sand showing there as well. So you can, change that up a little bit, dimensionally, meaning vertical versus horizontal, all different kinds of things you can do with these particular cuts that I gave you tonight. And here is the stepped up version. I'm going to show you, this is the first one I made on camera. Here's the stepped up version. I took my polished pink blends and I alternately colored the flowers on here, so with the light and with the dark. I also took some of the gingham ribbon and I colored it with my blend. And then I added borders behind each of these pieces here. So the polished pink has a white one and my white piece has a basic black one. And then I added some dimension to that piece with my splatter embossing folder. Okay, so there's a little bit of ways to bring some more versatility to that one, make it pop. And again, remember, neutral doesn't mean necessarily white or vanilla. You can do beautiful, beautiful work just by using one of those kind of earthy tones as your neutral color palette. Okay, so anywhere from neutrals to bolds and brights, you've got all kinds of great ways that you can use this particular layout and our great designer series papers. All right, everybody, my apologies for whatever happened tonight on Facebook. I really don't have any clue what was going on there, but I'll get this uploaded as soon as possible so y'all can see it. All right, hope to see you next week. Take care.